Welcome to Bengals on the Brain. I am Joe Goodberry, part of the Cincinnati Bengals Talk YouTube network, where we've got you covered every day on everything Bengals. We're still reviewing the draft somehow 3 weeks later. Well, I'm taking the time to do it and go over each guy and spend a few minutes. And today we're going to talk about two players that I find the most intriguing because, one, Jordan Battle, they get in the third round after a trade back. But they also would have considered him in round 2 in many scenarios, and it didn't play out because they got DJ Turner, a player they liked a whole bunch, at 60. But had they taken him there, I think we'd be penciling him as a starter right away. So we know they liked him that much as a second-round graded player. They get him in round 3, and end up that extra pick, they get Brad Robbins. But how much and how quickly does Jordan Battle play? We won't start with him, though. In the 6th round, they drafted their second receiver after we went over Charlie Jones last week. Or was it 2 weeks ago? Either way, check out the Charlie Jones video if you're looking for it. It's probably somewhere buried deep in all the videos we've got here. But Iosivas out of Princeton in the 6th round. And this is coming right after picking Charlie Jones. They haven't picked a tight end yet, so they go receiver, running back with Chase Brown, who we did last week. And then Iosivas in round 6. Weapons. More weapons for Joe Burrow. More speed. Another 4.43 guy. Chase Brown and Charlie Jones, also all 4.43 runners. So you get a guy with size and speed. But where does he play? Where does he fit in? Where does a guy that's, again, a little bit older, similar to Charlie Jones, a lot of these prospects on day 3 were, but coming from Princeton, high production, but against Ivy League schools and competition. I was impressed with Princeton's passing offense and the other weapons around them. I thought the quarterback was solid. I thought they had 3 receivers they could go to at any time. But Iosivas definitely stood out in terms of a downfield vertical threat, run after the catch, and a size-speed ratio. So what's his upside? Luckily, he posted some film on his Twitter account, which we will dissect a little bit, and talk about right now. Number 9 in orange and black, because of course he is Andre Iosivas. And what you're going to see here are highlights different because Andre posted these on Twitter because it's very hard to find Princeton tape. So we're going to enjoy the highlights and see his upside and his ability as he runs a lot of routes over the middle here, or runs a lot of deep digs and vertical routes. A lot of very similar routes to T. Higgins. And you'll see him make guys miss, which is something he did at a much higher rate every year in his career at Princeton. Started to get more and more elusive, quicker, faster, more confident as a receiver, get better in contested situations, as you see as he goes up and pulls this one in away from his frame. Very nice on the sideline, getting both feet down before getting pushed out. It's a very, very nice play by Iosivas. Going to run the slant here at the goal line, make a contested grab. We've seen T. Higgins do that a whole bunch. The contested grabs, though, went from 25% his first year at Princeton to converting 39% his second year to converting 69% in contested situations last year for Iosivas, which is tremendous. That 69% is really, really good. And you see that his quarterback trusted him and would just throw it up to him and allow him to make a play in coverage despite sometimes very tight or strong coverage on him. And you see right here as he judges it, faces it, turns it, high points and turns in the air. When you can do that, you're shielding your body from the defender and allowing you to secure the ball and pull it in away from the defender so he cannot knock it out. And he does that very naturally. Here he is doing it again and then turning away from both defenders, allowing him to secure that catch and not getting it punched out. Iosivas looks very, very comfortable in these situations, going up and making contested deep grabs. And why shouldn't he be, right? He's 6'3", 205 pounds, ran a 4.43, averaged 2.71 yards per route run, had a 5.3% career drop rate. All of these numbers are very good. His athleticism overall puts him in the 99th percentile for wide receivers. So you got good size, great athlete, and a guy that seems to have figured it out over his course of his career at Princeton, where he's running double moves, good routes, releasing well at the line, making contested grabs at a higher rate than he was in his college career, and varying his releases, running different routes every year. I did watch other games that I can't use. That's ESPN footage. And I thought, again, he got better as the year went on. So not only previous years did he get better, he got better throughout his final year at Princeton as well. The biggest knock on him is he's 23 and a half years old already. Typically, you like to draft guys that are a little bit younger. So we're seeing a little bit older guys with the NIL, with the COVID year. And it's going to change how we look at the position a little bit. But, I think when you get these plays like this where you're like, okay, the guy is obviously an athlete, but what kind of head does he have on his shoulders as he runs the comeback route here, sees the quarterback's break in the pocket, quickly turns, runs upfield, makes the grab, and then I don't think he gets in here, but he gets to the 1 yard line. I think these are smart, heady plays and shows change of direction. He's not just a big linear speed guy. He changes direction really well, and it's something that I really liked when watching Iosivas, number 9, orange and black. So that's some highlights of Iosivas. There are some Princeton games on YouTube that you can find. I can't use those clips. I've talked about this before. They will shut the whole thing down. ESPN will. So go and watch those. I did watch a few of those games to see the not so good plays. I thought there were some times where his routes were a bit rough, where he got jammed a little bit, things he's going to have to deal with and develop. And that's to be expected coming from Princeton being he's going to be labeled as a track guy, but I think he has done enough after 1,338 career snaps in Princeton and catching 124 passes for nearly 1,900 yards and 16 touchdowns. He is a football player. He's just fast and can do track things, which is great because I think that athleticism and speed shows up. And it's something I wanted the Bengals to address. There were many times, I think even on this show, on Bengals on the Brain, where we talked about when Trenton Irwin had to play, when Trent Taylor had to play, and even deeper into the depth the past few years. You didn't feel great about him. And I know Irwin played above expectation last year, stepping in and doing what he did. But imagine getting a faster guy in there. Imagine getting a more refined or quicker route runner in a Charlie Jones. Imagine getting a guy with a better catch radius like a Iosivas instead of Trent Irwin, instead of Trent Taylor. So I think the Bengals may have upgraded their 4th and 5th position. Maybe Iosivas is the inactive 6th guy for the year as he develops and you see what he can do. But I think his route tree is very similar to T. Higgins. I would have him just shadow Higgins in practice and say, whatever he does, you do. Learn to run the routes the way he does in case, you lose a guy again for a few games or so. And the Bengals have. Last year, they got hit with injuries. Jamar Chase for a handful of games. We thought it could have been the rest of the season. T. Higgins couldn't finish multiple games and was knocked out for a couple others. And then Tyler Boyd at the end. So I think depth was definitely needed there. You can't expect all 3 guys to stay healthy. If your offensive identity is those 3 receivers and Joe Burrow, one of them goes down, it severely limits how dynamic you can be. Adding 2 receivers in the draft make a lot of sense. Now, seeing where his upside may be and how quickly he could develop there, what does he look like to me? If you remember Jake Kumerow, who was a preseason favorite, I think Iosivas is going to kill guys in preseason just off being height, weight, speed, and ball skills type situation. He's going to continue to look the way he did in college. I think he could be a Kumerow. Now, Kumerow dealt with injuries and he can never stay healthy and get on the field. Or else the Packers would have played him. The Bills would have played him. I think the Bengals would have found a roster spot for him back then. So I think if Iosivas can be that but healthy, I think he can be a productive 4th, 5th, 6th receiver in the NFL for a long time. Next guy on the list, we're going to spend the film here about 13 and a half minutes on Jordan Battle out of Alabama. And Battle is a guy that I think a lot of people liked in the 2nd round range, Bengals included. And then he didn't test very well. The 4.55 is just okay. It's not a killer, but he didn't do well in other drills either. His RAS was a 5.9, which means his athleticism percentile amongst safeties was in the 59th percentile. So just an okay athlete, makes up for it with intelligence, anticipation, good tackling, really good in coverage. For a guy that's not a tremendous athlete, he's good in coverage. So we're going to see a very versatile player, do a lot of things. I've got some concerns why he probably wasn't a higher pick. It's not just the tested athleticism and speed. I think there are some things on tape why he didn't go even higher. We'll check that out first, then we'll come back and talk about it. Jordan Battle, number 9 for the Crimson Tide, highlighted right there. You'll see him. He's going to follow the receiver going in motion pre-snap. He's going to jump on it, and it's a wheel route. He easily flips and runs with it, forces the check down for the quarterback, and gets the team off the field on third down. So this is one of the plays where you see where he's very smart. They can use him a lot of different ways, very multiple. Then the next play is where it's a little throw to the flat, and we'll see a few of these. And you can see he doesn't have great speed and athleticism, and he kind of plays a bit soft at times. And we're getting another one of these again, where he's kind of just jogging to the play and being the last line of defense. Not the most aggressive player on the defense. Not going to run in there head first and try and crush somebody. He's going to wait back, and if he has to make the tackle, he'll make the tackle. And then there's other plays like this one where, it's just basically a screen to the left side. He's going to defeat his block. Knows he's probably the only guy that can make the tackle now is the unblocked defender. And he's going to do what he has to do to get there and make the play. So you can see it in his game. It's just kind of few and far between. As you'll see right there, he'll break off the receiver and come and get flat down the line or parallel to the first down marker and make a play at the very end. He's going to be an unblocked defender here, reads it correctly, comes in, makes the tackle for a stop on third down, forces a field goal. This is one of my favorite plays from Battle. As you'll see, the receiver is going to run a deep dig route, and Alabama's got their guys playing deep across the board. So no one's picking up this guy as he's going across, but Battle will. He'll eventually fall off and just say, you know what, I got the guy here. There's no one else for me to protect deep. And you'll see once he decides to do that and close on the receiver, he does a great job of playing the ball while pushing the receiver out of bounds and forcing this incompletion. And I believe this was also a stop on third down. Battle is one of the split safeties, comes up, going to play the strong safety. It's a screen to that side where he's got to come up and just play contain because the receiver and corner on his side of the field are running vertically and running together. So he's got to be the outside contained guy. He quickly realizes that, adjusts to it. He's not trying to make the tackle here. He's trying to force him back inside to his help. And he does that, and does that very well. Battle's going to rotate down here and pick up the slot receiver that's in motion. He's going to run vertically. He's going to end up picking him up, and the ball's thrown for whatever reason. The guy's not open, but Battle has 5 TDs given up in his career. A lot of snaps played. 3,091 total snaps on defense at his Alabama career, plus another 800 on special teams. So a lot of snaps. So 5 touchdowns isn't a lot. He does have 6 interceptions and 9 pass breakups in his career. I wanted to get that in there. 72.9 quarterback rating when targeted. So here's Battle in run defense again. He's got to come up, dislodge. I don't know if that's the slot receiver or the tight end. Either way, he gets off of him. And I wanted to highlight right there that he is always going for the ball. I think they're going to love him for that. He's going to fit right in with Jermaine Pratt and Mike Hilton and the rest of the gang that's constantly clawing at the ball. This is another nice heady play. You almost have like double slants going on. And if it's zone, you're going to go to that second guy, which Battle jumps him. It's more of an in route, but Battle jumps that route so well that you'll see the quarterback here. He's going to go to it. You see he reads it, okay, and kind of like an RPO situation. I'm going to go to the second guy. Not there because Battle jumps on it. You see the way he celebrates with his sideline too. Like, oh, I saw it. I was all over it. And he was. And he forces a sack there and, helps his defense out. Another screen to his side. Again, this is where the 4.55 speed shows up, where he's not the fastest. But I think it also shows up where he's not going to be the guy who fires his guns first. He's not going to be the guy that goes out there and misses a tackle either. He had one of the best missed tackle rates in college football, especially at safety, 11%, which is really good. And he's not going to go running there, flying there 100 miles an hour and miss it. But here is a very nice play out on the edge where he's got to come up, and Deuce Vaughn's going to try and lay a block, maybe the smallest guy in the NFL now. So yeah, it's not a big guy that's going to lay this block, but get to the outside, lay the shoulder, maintain balance, and then make the tackle on the quarterback. And Battle does it very well there. One of his 6 career interceptions comes in on this play right here. He's going to pick up Deuce Vaughn coming out of the backfield, long developing wheel type route, and he's never stressed about it. You see him casually running with Deuce Vaughn. He's going to flip his hips, locate the ball, play the ball at its highest point in front of the receiver. This is textbook how you want to handle it, and it's a good play in a college football playoff game. And now he's going to be covering the slot just on like an RPO type situation. So this is going to go against them, but really not much you can do there. I just wanted to put it in because I don't have very many plays out of these 3 games I'm going to show where he's charged with allowing a reception. So this would be one, but really no one's faulting him. Biggest play for K-State probably. And this run goes right at Jordan Battle. But really, I think it's on the front. I mean, you end up with a tight end, or I think it was the receiver, and an offensive lineman in your face as Jordan Battle. A lot of people said, whoa, he looked slow on that play, or he couldn't get to that play, or he couldn't make a play there. I agree, but there was 2 guys that I'm not sure what he's supposed to be able to do. But on this one, I think this, again, is another example of when you can string him out and make him be an athlete. He plays this well. Right? He doesn't make a mistake, but you wish he was a more aggressive, more fluid, a more twitched up, faster athlete to make a play before it becomes a close. I think it was a first down, or at least it would have been 2nd and 9 right after it. So you'd like that tackle to happen at 5 yards rather than 9. And this is a play right over the middle, check down. He's going to come up, make a tackle. See the ball carrier is going to try and split the 2 defenders, and then Battle gets in there and tries to rip the ball as the 3rd defender. Again, Bengals are going to love that. A couple more run defense plays here where he does really well. But Jordan Battle is actually one of the highest graded coverage safeties coming out of college football this year by PFF. So his run defense is just okay, slightly above average in the low 70s, which, again, is just okay. But he played a lot of free, played a lot of slot, played a lot of box safety. In fact, 814 career snaps in the box, 1,500 as the free safety, and 700 as the slot defender. So very well versed, playing it from all different positions of the field. Here he's in a cover 2 situation. They're going to roll right up the middle of the field and exploit that middle of the field open defense. I love this play again. So here's a heady play for him. Is they're going to run 2 guys across the middle. They got Deuce Vaughn going on the angle route. He's going to jump on it. And then here's my issue with number 9 again here, Battle. Watch how he kind of just hangs around. Like, go help him make a play. You're going to see another one in this game too. It's like, I'd love to see my safety to be consistently aggressive, flying into that pile, especially we're at the 4, 3, 2 yard line as this gets to. Like, go in there, go lay a helmet in there, go lay a shoulder. He's like celebrating or something. I can't tell what he's doing, but here's a play with a little bit of bracket coverage. I think he flips his hips and drives on that in route very fluidly. That was very impressive. One of his most athletic plays right there is just being able to get on that. You're going to see Jordan Battle come into the screen down on the right-hand side here. Again, make the tight end miss, come up, help make a tackle on Deuce Vaughn. Another very nice coverage play is they bring this receiver in motion. They're going to stack them, try and give him a free release, and then hit the out route, right, as the other guy drives the 2 defenders away. Battle does a great job staying over top and then closing when the receiver goes and breaks outside. And you see the quarterback's waiting for it. He's going to throw this. So well-timed pressure, but also really good coverage by Battle on that play. I was really impressed with that. Again, another play here where he's got to come up, make a tackle in the flats. He's going to be safe about it. He's really never going to get to that last gear. He's never really going to open it up and shoot his guns. And I wish he would sometimes. You can see how he's playing the right technique, right position, making sure this doesn't turn into a big, long play. But yeah, there are times where I wish he was coming in like this right here. You're going to watch this play could score. Like, get in there, stick your head in there, do something. And he kind of just hangs out as the guy gets really close to scoring and ends up on the 1 yard line. And here he is on as an unblocked read defender. Again, you're kind of standing around as that guy's driving into the end zone on the last couple steps there. And I just don't like that. Battle, again, is a run defender and tackler. Not the strongest tackler, can be carried. He's a short tackler. I wouldn't say he's a strong tackler. Doesn't hit with a lot of power. There are sometimes he'll catch a guy over the middle, especially a receiver. But when it comes one-on-one with a running back, he's more of a wrap up and go for a ride guy, and maybe he can strip the ball if he can hold him up. But he's not some power tackler, in my opinion. Here he is coming up on this running back. And again, I mean, he gets the job done, but another situation where he's got to make a play in the flats and be an athlete and show some speed. Now he's got to be cognizant of the first receiver running the crosser. But then once that receiver runs into the safety, or the referee, I should say, and the ball's thrown underneath, Battle's got to open it up and go. And he can't get to the corner. He can't cut that angle off. That ends up being a touchdown. And here's a good play here where he clearly sees the guy running an in route, plants his feet, closes on the play, and helps. Almost was an interception. Ball hit the ground first, but that's what you want from a middle of the field defender. This one he ends up, I think, drifting too far to his right or left on the end zone angle here. And I wonder why, because this safeties or the quarterback's looking right the whole way. You would think he would drift with them, so it must have been a read or a design of the defense. Anyway, he ends up closing and chasing the guy down, helping stop that before it becomes a touchdown. Right on the goal line, going for the ball, and he's ripping at the wrong hand as the guy powers into the end zone. Come up, make a tackle, kind of misses a little bit here. The guy gets an extra yard or so out of it. But again, I think he's playing the leverage and saying, okay, I'll go outside, you come inside. And he's doing his job. There's just times I wish he was doing above his job, doing more. Because we didn't get a lot of opportunities to see a deep ball while he's at free safety, I thought this would be a good one. This ball, I don't know what the receiver's judging there. I don't know why he turns and just jumps for that. But I think Battle was closing correctly and with good timing and would have been close enough to make a hit on that play as the ball was approaching. So I think if anything, the receiver messed him up a little bit. A couple more run defense plays where he's got to come from the free safety spot and really run downfield and make the play here. He plants his feet. He wants to make sure he's not going to be the one to miss the tackle here as he comes down, gathers himself, and then makes the play. On the running back, kind of just catches the guy rather than come in and just blow him up or take his feet out from underneath him. But at least you're going for the ball. The weird thing is he wasn't credited with a single forced fumble in his career at Alabama. This one, he's carrying, or he's eyeing the vertical route on the boundary, right? But he eyes it so much that he doesn't realize the ball is landing right at his feet. As he turns, that lands 2 yards in front of him. Could have been a big play for the Alabama defense. They needed a stop right here, too. They needed one. Again, we're making sure we don't miss this tackle, making sure we don't let the big play happen, but we're going to hold them up a little bit and try and rip the ball out of there. Unsuccessfully, but you're not blaming the guy for trying. Try and keep your eye on him on this one where he's going to say, okay, this guy's going to break free and he's going to jump and replace the corner there. And the corner ends up actually making the pick, but I think Battle does a great job of getting in front. It ends up being two receivers in the same area at the same time, and I think that caused more confusion than anything because I think the quarterback's trying to hit this guy that Battle ends up on. As he breaks back to the pylon, Battle's going to replace that corner, get in front, and then that corner, who was originally on him, this guy right here, number 1, ends up getting a nice big return on it. So again, Alabama needs a stop here. It's a close game. They're playing very deep because Tennessee's got to make something happen. We got a deep in route where he's at the free safety position. And all you really want to see here is how's he play the ball? How's his timing? Can he close fast enough? Can he get there and disrupt the play? And I think he does. It's just a really good grab by the receiver. So that was 3 games on Jordan Battle there. 2 of his best games and then 1 where he was used in a lot of different ways and saw a few targets in his direction. And I thought there's probably a balance of how his PFF grading, that's what I like to do when I watch tape. I will watch the best games, I'll watch your worst games, but I also will look for what's the game that represents the middle, and I think that Tennessee game does, which looks like a good starter. Now, I don't know if his upside is ever going to be a Pro Bowl type player. I don't think he has Jesse Bates upside where you knew he'd be special if he hit everything, and Bates did for a short period and then was very good for a long time. I do think he could have, and I think the comparison that people like to use is the Von Bell. I do think he could be a Von Bell type player. Now, Bell was more physical. He was a stronger tackler. And it's not that Battle's a weak tackler. He just is more of a wrap-up kind of guy. He plays, in my opinion, more like a free safety. He's like Von Bell's athleticism and demeanor and IQ put in a free safety body. And he did do a lot in the box, and he did cover the slot. I don't think that's where he's going to be. I think people assume if you're not the fastest guy, you can't have the range as a free safety. And I don't think that's correct. I think you can be a 4 or 5 guy and still have plenty of range because that's intelligence, anticipation, tracking the ball and playing the ball, understand how they're trying to attack you so that you can gain leverage or depth. And I think Battle shows all that, and I think he can be a guy that you interchange freely. When does that mean he starts? When does that mean he gets on the field? I think he could get on the field very early. The coaches are raving about his intelligence. Like when they went to the combine, the story was they only got through 3 plays because he's breaking down what every single person on the field is supposed to be doing before he even really gets to his job. So if that's the kind of player that you have, pairing him with the Nick Scott and a Dax Hill as your 3 top safeties, I think that's a pretty winning formula for replacing Jesse Bates and Vaughn Bell, which you're going to take a step back, and part of that step back was going to be the experience within the scheme and maybe some of the communication. Maybe you fix a lot of that, or at least help progress that, give it a nice boost by having a guy like Battle that's such, that's his MO, that's his strength, is being able to do those things. So I do think you can interchange now more than ever, because Bates and Bell, as much as Lou Anarumo and the defensive staff said, they're interchangeable, you did, based on their career, line up Jesse Bates more as a deep safety and Vaughn Bell more as a strong safety. And I think now, with the experience you have, with Nick Scott being able to do both and equally split his responsibilities between both and doing a lot of free safety stuff as well. But he looks like a strong safety. Similar to Jordan Battle. Looks like a strong safety, I think, body type, speed-wise, but I think he plays like a free safety. I think his coverage is his strength, easily. And if those guys are interchangeable and you can do what you want, and the Bengals want to play with 2 deep safeties a lot, they did before, if you want to do that, that frees up, if you want to put Nick Scott and Battle back there, that frees up Dax Hill to be your star. And I said this in the end of last week's episode. Jordan Battle's the best safety they've drafted in the last 2 years between Tyson Anderson, Dax Hill, and Jordan Battle, but he's not the best prospect. Dax Hill is the best prospect. That athleticism, that speed, his production scores all say he's got all-pro type potential, multiple Pro Bowl type potential. And if that's the case and you can get him to that level, then you do what you need to do that. And if that means you move him around into the slot, into the box, as the free safety, you free him up, let him do all the fun things. Does Troy Polamalu ever be Troy Polamalu if you just only let him be a strong safety? Or do you say, take the reins off and let him do what he wants to do? You got to figure out what these guys are best at and then let them do it. And if that means you free up Dax Hill to be that star of your secondary, because he's the highest drafted player in your secondary. He's the most athletic guy in your secondary. He's one of, if not, DJ Turner now is the fastest, but he's one of the fastest safeties in the league, which means he's clearly an athletic defensive back for the Bengals. If that means you've got to move him around and get him free, and Jordan Battle helps do that, then it's a positive for the defense. And if that's an effort to get Dax Hill to be the maximum he can be, then this is going to be a great move. And I don't know if the Bengals drafted a Pro Bowl guy. I was talking with James Rapine about this, and I said this on Twitter, because now that we're getting into reviewing the class, we'll do some undrafted guys afterwards. We're wrapping up this episode. I don't know that they drafted a Pro Bowl player. Maybe DJ Turner has the best chance because a man cover guy, if he develops as a complete man cover guy, his profile could suggest that. And I'm just talking pre-draft profile, film, tape, obviously, but athleticism, size, and production, your measured production. That should give us an indication. Battle doesn't have that. I don't think Miles Murphy has that. It could be he could, but because he's young and athletic, he's got the best chance of the guys who don't. Charlie Jones could maybe be a return man, make the Pro Bowl, and then I maybe Brad Robbins as a punter, because you never know how that may go. But you don't have to be a Pro Bowl. I said this, and some people were upset on Twitter when I said it, but T. Higgins and Logan Wilson aren't Pro Bowlers. Sam Hubbard's not a Pro Bowler. Vaughn Bell wasn't a Pro Bowler, but they're very good players. So I think the Bengals could hit Jordan Battle with a very good player. I like the idea of developing Iosivas and seeing what type of depth he can be. I'm not projecting him to be a top 3 starter ever. I think that would be hard to project as a 6th rounder. Most of these guys don't succeed. They'll last a few years and make a few plays, and that's great. He's got a good chance with the coaching staff and the guys in front of him to learn from them, and we'll see if he even sees the field as a rookie. But Battle, I expect to see the field early, and I'm excited because I think he helps Dax Hill, frees up Dax Hill to be the player the Bengals thought they were drafting when they took him in the first round last year. And this is Bengals on the Brain. I'm Joe Goodberry. Follow me on Twitter if you don't, because there's more stuff on there as well. More discussion, more videos, clips, and more bad takes. Until next time.